What's good, beautiful people? My name is Mark and I'm back at you with another Psychedelic Serenity tutorial. Today we'll be taking on my Serenity 10 strip, which is a psychedelic design that runs diagonally across the shirt and leaves negative space on either side. It's a really fun and intuitive design to play with, and I'm really excited to see what y'all come up with. So the things you'll need for this design is your B55 bowstring or sinew, or literally anything to tie a shirt up with. I feel like the B55 is the easiest to work with and also gives me the best details. I'm not sure if you'll have the same experience, but that's the beauty of this reality. You'll also need your shirt. You'll need your dye. And I don't know if I said washable marker already, but you will need a washable marker to draw in your design. I want to thank everybody for being on this journey with me. I really appreciate all the love and support this community has shown to me, and I love seeing all the creations that come from these videos. So please tag me, send a direct message or whatever, because I love seeing them, and it really is what keeps me inspired to keep making these and sharing this information with y'all. So please be sure to share your creations with me. The next thing I want to remind everybody, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you don't ever miss one of my tutorials. And also, you're going to want to leave a comment in the comment section on this video, because at the end of every tutorial, I end up giving the shirt that I made from the tutorial away at the end of the month. So please leave a comment and share this with your friends who you think would enjoy it. And yeah, have fun. I invite you to let go, let your intuition guide you while creating, and yeah, detach a little bit, have fun with it, and you know, get your human out of the way for a little bit, and beautiful things will happen. So again, thank you, and I will see you at the folding table. All right, so we're at the folding portion of this 10 strip design. We got our shirt. One thing that I didn't mention that may be helpful is a long straight edge, just to mark a diagonal line. I typically just eye it. I grab it from corner to corner and pull it up, but I'm gonna draw a line just for video purposes. It also will help you keep your center point while you're tying, because it's very easy to pull it out of position and it'll start becoming unsymmetrical. And you can liquid dye or ice dye these. That goes with anything really, but all right, I'm just going to take a second to get into the present moment. Do a couple deep breaths. You're welcome to join me. And I also invite you to just stay present with your creation, get your mind out of the way, and let your intuition guide you into new dimensions, really. Well, at least for me. My problems seem to disappear as I drop into the present. I'm sitting out by my stream. The new property I'm renting. I think I'm going to try to do all the videos out here. It's super peaceful and nature's sounds in the background. So once I got this line drawn on here, and again, I don't typically draw the line, but if you're just, this is the first time doing the design, I'd recommend that you do it. And I try to get it directly corner to corner here. And all you do is pull up once you're holding the two end points. And there you can lay it down and just make sure you're aligned there. Sometimes you have to stick your arm in to straighten out the fabric. And then once we have it folded so that it's going to be running symmetrical diagonally now, we can go ahead and draw our design in. And again, let your intuition guide you, get your human out of the way a little bit, and have fun with it. You may very well come up with something that's really beautiful, that has your own energy signature on it. Actually, scratch that. It is going to come out beautiful because it does have your own energy signature in it. So explore that, play with that, and do more than one of these and play with a couple different designs. And I typically like to start at the top just so I get this sleeve in properly, because I want my design to run onto the sleeve and towards the center of the shirt a little bit. So we're getting enough fabric to play with, and then also leaving enough white space on either side. And you can't get this wrong. So whatever kind of lines you draw is just perfect. Hopefully I'm not too far away on this. So from here, we're just going to pleat up our line. And you can make these as small or the pleats as small or as big as you'd like. You can also, I actually alternate. It's going to be wonky by the time I get to the end of my thing. It'll vary in sizes. And it doesn't need to be perfect. If your line doesn't line up exactly perfect, it'll be all right. You probably won't even notice. Oh, hello, flower. All right, so now that I have it all pleated up, we'll go ahead and tie off with your B55 or your sinew or whatever you have, right down that line. And this B55 bowstring, I'll leave the link for this in the description so that y'all can find it easy. It's from Three Rivers Archery. I'm not affiliated or anything with them. I just love using this stuff. So and something that has really helped me while tying stuff, especially if you're doing large volumes of tying at once, is that I use the edge of my table as leverage and then just use my body weight to pull down on it. Instead, I feel like I've seen a lot of dyers pulling with their arms and using their arm strength all the time. But I found it more beneficial and more energy saving to be able to just use your leverage and lean down. You also don't snap the cord and punch yourself, because I heard of that happening too. So all right, and now that we have this section tied off really well, we can go in and start detailing the rest of the shirt. A pointer that I want to give to you is just to make sure that you keep your eye on your center line as we're tying this. A lot of times for me, that center line wants to come out of whack, for lack of better words. But you'll start losing your symmetry if it gets too crazy. So just keep your eye on that. But other than that, you can really let go in this section. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. I invite you to let your intuition guide you and really put your own energy signature into your piece. We're not carbon copies as beings, and you know, we don't need to make carbon copy art. Each piece of art is by itself beautiful because it was created. Hey, pretty bird. And so what I like to do, the only other really guidance that I can really add to this, because it is such a intuitive process for me, but I want to make sure I have like several different sections so that I can go in and detail different parts of the 10 strip. So it has, I don't know, it creates a lot of faces all the way down. It's like a diagonal totem design. But yeah, just have fun with it, let go, and I'll show you how I get these sections separated, and then I'm probably going to fast forward through the rest of the video because it's just a flowing process for me. So you want to start by, I usually grab like a lower section of the pleat, and from here I'll fold it up a couple times and down. I say up, but you can go in any direction you want. And then from there I'm going to grab my line and pull it directly over that section back down to my starting line. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, and it doesn't need to be at the bottom of a pleat. It can really start from anywhere. So now we have 3 different sections. I'm probably gonna pull another one up here and try to get another one in down here. See, my center line was trying to pull out of there. Yeah, I have a family of hawks in my backyard too. That's what you hear in the background. Oh, he's right over my head. So I'm just starting to detail this end nub. I guess we can refer to them as nubs. And I'll show you in a second. So I got this nub. I'm going to go in and be able to detail this section. I'll be able to go in and detail this section. This section, I might even split that up once more. And then I'll go in and split this again, and I'll be able to detail that section. So the more sections that you can pull apart, you know, the more details you get, because you'll have more string hitting areas of the shirt. So and so now that I got all my sections on, I'm just going to go in and do the detail. And I'm going to fast forward through this part so you guys have fun, and I will see you when I'm done. All right, and that is a wrap. And the next up, we'll have to wrap this in cellophane or a plastic bag or something that we can grab it on with, where we're not gonna be transferring dye as we're dyeing this thing onto this white part, because we want to try to keep this clean. And we will see you at the dye table if you're interested in learning how I mix my chemical water, aka magic water, which is what I like to call it, but around the tie-dye community it's called chemical water. So if you're interested in learning how to mix my magic water and also how I mix my dyes, I have a video tutorial on that as well, and I will leave the link for that in the description of this video as well. So yeah, I hope you guys have fun, and we will see you at the next segment. Peace. So I wanted to give you guys a view of this beautiful magical tree that I'm doing these tutorials under. It's a northern catalpa, I think that's how you say it. But it's starting to bloom. These little beautiful flowers. And they're everywhere right now. It's such a magical tree. branches touching the ground here. And then look at that. And this is where I'm set up. I'm really grateful and really honored to be able to play out here and create out here and commune with Mother Nature all at the same time. And yeah, it's just been a beautiful little spot. So excited to do any video that the weather allows under this beautiful tree. All right, time to die. Love y'all. All right, so we have our shirt all wrapped up in saran wrap. You can do it with a grocery bag or whatever you can keep your dyed hands off of. This is just water that I'm spraying on the shirt. It's to break surface tension. Helps the dye just get in there and penetrate a little easier. Oh, it's taking me all sorts of out of whack. Okay. Alright, and we're going to do a rainbow palette on this. I just really love how the rainbow looks on this design. You guys are free to explore whatever you want. And I also like to pull back the saran wrap a little bit so I can see just how much dye is penetrating there. So anytime I'm doing a liquid dye, or anytime I've done a tutorial in a liquid dye, the dyeing portion always ends up screwing up a little bit, so I end up having to just fast forward or cut it out. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to tell you how I go about getting full saturation on my liquid dye shirts. I'm gonna refer to them as layers. I'm gonna be like 3 or 4 layers that go down on this shirt, and my typical my first layer usually has a decent amount of dye that goes into it. It has to reach deep within these folds. These are thicker shirts and thicker folds, and you need to make sure the dye gets to the center of that fold. So for reference, I put a whole dropper into my first layer. So whatever color I'm laying down, it gets a whole dropper worth of dye. And then I'll do that throughout the whole shirt until the first layer, this shirt is completely covered with the first layer. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I'll explain as I'm going. And there's no rhyme or reason to this. I really just let go a little bit. I did an experiment once where I spent like 3 minutes dyeing a shirt, and I just let go completely, and then I took and tried to precisely place the dye exactly where I wanted it. And the shirt that I just let go and did in 2 minutes came out, for me, exponentially better than the one that I took and tried to get my brain in the way. I really invite you to just be present with the art. Really get lost in the color and stay with your breath. It'll keep you in the present moment. And that allows creation to flow through you instead of having to create. Ocean. Little off camera. And now I'm starting with my second color, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing, just go in different sections, laying that first dropper in for the first layer. And then once the whole shirt's covered, we'll go in and start detailing with the second layer. And I also like to, I personally will go in as I'm doing the first layer, and if I want to get this orange over the yellow a little bit, I'll hit it right now so I don't have to pull the orange back out. But just for tutorial purposes, I'm just going to keep it layer by layer. In certain sections, like you can see this little nub, that ain't gonna take a whole dropper the first layer, so just kind of use your intuition with that. My red's a little thick. My pink, whatever you want to call it. Now on to the blue. For my rainbows, I try to use a little less blue so that it's not mixing with the yellow and making too much green. And that's one of the reasons why I use very limited green on my rainbows, is because a lot of times the blue and yellows will mix and make green, and you don't want, or I don't want, too much green on the shirt. It can be overpowering. And also, if my blue is getting too close to the yellow and I'm trying to avoid green, I'll go in with my pink so that the blue and pink mix and make a purple, and that'll separate the blue and yellow a little bit too. Just go ahead and remind everyone, if you're not subscribed already to my channel, please do so. It is appreciated more than you know. And yeah, it just keeps me inspired to keep making videos. Alright, so we have just our first layer done right now. Oh, I got one more section here. And don't be afraid to put colors that don't seem like they go together on top of each other or next to each other. I typically get the best shirts when colors are mixing by themselves and making unique colors and stuff like that. All right, so now that we have our first layer in, I'll go in and take other colors that look good on top of the current colors that are already laid down and go in and start laying that down. And you can use your intuition on how much you want to put down. At this point, we're pretty saturated, but you're definitely going to need a couple more layers, and they don't need to be full droppers or anything like that. But I have a good understanding of how much dye goes in these things and what they feel like when they're done. But yeah, and we're also going to use the pariah method at the end of this to set the dye, and that'll also help move dye into sections that might have white in them. So, and white's not the worst either. The white can be really cool if it's balanced and spaced right, but that's hard to really predict with tie-dye, and that's why I like just having the outsides as negative space to create that white in there. So now I'm just going to go over certain sections, and I'm going to go pretty random here, and just I randomized it last time, but I'm really just going to get loose with it here and let spirit take over and just get my human out the way. So that's the second layer, and this one, because it's a smaller tie, is just about full with dye. So I'm just going to be adding a few more little sections where I think it may be needed. And I usually look for the fuzzies. I don't know if you guys can make that out. I'll have to look back at this, but see these white little fuzzies? That's how I know I might need a little more dye. And again, it's not even, doesn't even need that much more. But I'll just go through and try to negate at least some of those more fuzzy spots. And now this is where I go in and just do little drops in different spots to create more depth and detail in the piece. Pink is a good color to really, it goes over everything really well. It even goes over green. You wouldn't think it does, but it covers up green really well. And then it looks really good on top of green as well. So let's see. Nope. All right, and that's a wrap on the color. I think that's where I'm gonna end it, and I'm just gonna hit it with some lime green. This is kind of just something I've learned from another dyer. All right, and that's it for the color. I'm just gonna hit this with a little more lime here, and then I will go in with some black, and that'll be that. These isolation pieces that keep sections white are really kind of tricky to rinse. I believe I did a complete rinse on my Totem video for these, but you basically want to rinse this clean, because I'm not going to videotape all this again, is why I'm explaining it, but you're going to want to rinse this really good under hot water, get it untied, rinse it some more, and then you're going to want to go right into a boiling bucket of water and get that swished around really good. And once it sits in there for about 5 or 10 minutes, you could take it out and rinse it under cold water, and it should be fine. You shouldn't have no like dye marks on your white areas, but make sure you keep the saran wrap on the whole time. And again, I think I did this for my Totem. I showed the whole process, so if you want to refer to that, I will leave the link for that in the description as well. And yeah, thank you so much for being here again. I know I repeat myself a bunch of times on these videos. I'm trying to get better at that, but yeah, I love y'all, and thank you for being on this journey with me. And that's that. I put a little black on there to create depth and add shading and all that fun stuff. Don't be nervous to use the black. Just trust the process, let go a little bit, and see what happens, because adding a little shadowing and depth to the piece really like takes it to the next level. I was a little not comfortable using black fully, and I would just sprinkle a couple dots on there, and I could see its potential, so I kind of just went with it the one time, and it kind of changed everything. So I invite you, if you are nervous, to face that fear, and something beautiful will come of it. All right, I love y'all. I can't wait to see how this turned out, and I can't wait to see how y'all's turned out. And don't forget to leave a comment, because at the end of this month I will be calling a winner for this shirt. And also the Psychedelic Trails tutorial, there's still a chance to enter that to win those shirts as well. So hop over to there, leave a comment, check the video out. Yeah, peace. All right, beautiful people, here is the final results of the Serenity 10 strip. I really love how this one came out. The fade on the sides are really beautiful, and the balance of color is really good on this one too. All the colors are available. Sometimes they get eaten up by other colors, but this one stayed and made a beautiful rainbow. So I want to thank everyone for being here and supporting yourself on your creative journey. I want to thank you for being here for me and supporting my creative journey. Sorry, I'm getting a little teary here. But I love y'all. Thank you for being here. Please share your creations with me. It's what keeps me inspired and keeps these videos rolling. You can find me on Instagram at psyserenity. I'm sorry, scratch that. You can find me on Instagram at Psychedelic Serenity AVL, and then my website is psyserenity.com, and you can find all my available inventory, and that's where I release my collections a couple times a month. So check in, and I do a lot of promoting on Instagram, so follow me on there for all the updates. Yeah, thank you. I love y'all. Peace.